Last time we left off with Mary's emotionally charged visit to Elizabeth's home. Elizabeth, who heard of God's covenant fulfillment personified in Mary's womb, shouted with joy, and Mary responded. Mary's response is called the Magnificat. It's found in Luke chapter 1, verse 46. And Mary said, "My soul magnifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God my Savior, for he has looked on the humble estate of his servant. For behold, from now on all generations will call me blessed, for he who is mighty has done great things for me, and holy is his name. And his mercy is for those who fear him from generation to generation. He has shown strength with his arm. He has scattered the proud in the thoughts of their hearts. He has brought down the mighty from their thrones and exalted those of humble estate. He has filled the hungry with good things, and the rich he sent empty away. He has helped his servant Israel in remembrance of his mercy, as he spoke to our fathers, to Abraham and to his offspring forever." Mary knew that what was happening inside her womb was not something novel. It wasn't that God had changed his mind and decided to do this crazy incarnation thing in Jesus. Mary knew that the fulfillment of the promises to Abraham was growing in her womb, the promises to all of God's people. She knew that what was growing inside her body was to help his servant Israel, to help his people, and was the fulfillment of the promise that he had made to Abraham. In Genesis 12, God told Abraham, "By your seed, by your family, all nations of the earth shall be blessed." Mary knew that God was fulfilling his covenant promise to Abraham right inside her womb, and that this was a sign of his very character, the way that God is. God does things that are in keeping with his character. See, no one had to convince Mary that as an unwed peasant mom, she was humble and lowly and meek. Young Mary knew that God had chosen to insert himself into human history in her blue-collared family in the backwater Roman province of Palestine, not in Caesar's palace. And so she sang out to Elizabeth, and her song echoes throughout the ages. He, God, has shown strength with his arm. He has scattered the proud in the thoughts of their hearts. He's brought down the mighty from their thrones, and he's exalted people like me, people of humble estate. He's filled the hungry with good things, and the rich, he sent them empty away. Mary knew that the means God chose to fulfill his covenant with his people revealed that he is the God who acts on behalf of the poor, the weak, the meek, and the humble. That he's the God who resists the proud and the strong. It's good news because most of us are not rich or powerful. In fact, many live under some form of injustice. But the promise of God incarnate in the womb of Mary, the promise of the Song of Mary, is that God's promises are fulfilled in the meek and lowly. God's covenant is fulfilled in honoring the very things that our world despises. God's kingdom is an upside-down kingdom. This Christmas, if you find yourself in want, if you find yourself meek and lowly, God's promises fulfilled in Jesus are for you. He will insert himself into your life and be your comfort and be your portion. This Christmas, learn from Mary to sing out for joy. The Holy One has not forgotten you. In fact, you may be at the center of his plan, right at the very core of his heart.